You come in here dressed like a hobo. It's distracting.
I know you're working.
You mocking me? Are you mocking me?
This ain't reality TV!
Look, they're not all first-round picks, okay?
Are you mocking me?
Don't laugh!
This is gonna be tough.
Relax, dude.
Hello, welcome to the Steelers Sanctuary Tuesday mock draft. Normally we do the war room here, but we know how much we love mock drafting, and last year we put out mock drafts on Tuesday, so we said, what the hell, let's do a show. So we're going to do this for a while, and then we'll bring the war room back as we sign free agents and things like that. So, Trent, how are we doing tonight? Are we excited to pick some players?
Doing fantastic. Mock draft is so much fun, and getting to know and learn some of these players as we go through the process too. It's fun, and we have no idea which one of these guys are going in which round at this point because there's been no pro days, no combine, no anything outside of the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl. So we're gonna have some fun with it, and let's see how close we get from now until it's actually the real draft.
Yeah, and a little bit of Steelers news before we get started. Looks like Scott Tolzien, who I thought was going to be the offensive coordinator, a lot of people thought was going to be the offensive coordinator, turned the job down. Although I do think Mike McCarthy, we were talking in prep, maybe gave him the option to save face a little bit.
Yeah.
Also sounds like Jim Haslett's son turned the job down to come with us as a passing game coordinator, but maybe a blessing in disguise. We're going to get this DeChico guy from Minnesota. Everybody's raving about this guy.
Yeah, I can't say I know a ton about him, but I was interested in Tolzien from the standpoint that a former NFL player as a quarterback. Quarterbacks do usually the most film study of any other position on the football field. I thought maybe it'd be an interesting thing. No, if I'm saying that Kaboli's reporting that the OC job wasn't even offered.
Which is weird because Kaboli was the one who said it was an absolute lock last week.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's Pittsburgh. We get a guy named DeChico. Hey, DeChico Skoranek. Let's do some Pittsburgh people here. It seems to be a prerequisite to get the fucking job.
Yeah, I mean, look, the OC here is going to be totally different than an OC whose head coach does not call the plays.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's obviously not going to be the play caller. They're the ones designing and scheming up game plan and trying to put plays that they think are going to work against defenses together each week. And they're probably going to be guys that are heavily involved in mapping out like the first 13. You're always talking about like those first 13 plays to start a game. They're going to be heavily involved in those things. So, be interesting. It's definitely an interesting path to becoming an OC and calling plays, but we'll see. There's a lot of you're not the only person. I mean, I know Corb's been talking about how he's been reading a lot of stuff about the Chico guy too. So we'll see.
Yeah, I love the fact that unlike Arthur Smith, he had Zach Kazani, he had Tom Arth, but I feel like there's such a depth of the coaching staff that, and I know you guys talked about this last time, and here we go. I just really am impressed that he's building this coaching staff out. And yeah, maybe Art Rooney's cheap, and maybe he's spending less on Mike, and maybe he's paying all these coaches because. But frankly, I don't care as long as we have a giant modern coaching staff.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is we don't even know because and we're not going to see probably that contract to know what McCarthy even got. I mean, maybe he's getting $22 million and still building this thing out. We don't know. We have no idea. Yeah. I mean, this could be either or. It could be we save money on the head coach so we're allowed to build out the coaching tree, or maybe not. Either way, at the end of the day, we're benefiting from it by having the larger coaching tree. And maybe some of these, Corb, I think, is the one who talked about this last night. Maybe these, attention to detail issues and communication issues that we've heard about for years, those things go away with a bigger coaching tree here. So we'll find out.
I love it. So let's talk some mock draft, guys. So what we're going to do is similar to last year. And I know Bob hates PFF. He does. But
They have the best.
I
one.
like PFF Simulator. I really do, because they give us instant grades, and we're going to be able to actually go through and talk through the picks. And there's some nice things on the simulator here. So usually what I do, Trent, on care for positional value, I usually crank this up a little bit and go about halfway. So this way we get a more realistic draft choice. I don't know how you do it. Where do we want to kind of set this? Are we good with halfway?
Yep, I'm good with it.
Okay, and then I always go draft for needs all the way to the end, because, again, the PFF simulator is skewed to take wide receivers and cornerbacks even when they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Receivers and quarterbacks. And randomness I usually try to just leave as is. So let's pick our Steelers here and hit enter draft. And away we go. So we flew through, and before we see who our picks are here, let's just go back and look at the top of the draft. Looks like, shockingly, Fernando Mendoza went first. Arno Reese to the Jets is a little bit interesting. Good player. It's certainly, Jets need good players, but you would think they would consider offense there. Ruben Bain, who I know, and David Bailey right behind it. I know we talked over the weekend that, hey, that's kind of 1-2. I know you like David Bailey a lot. So
I do.
Him going to Tennessee, that I think that kind of works out for him if he falls that way versus going to Arizona.
Yeah, I get to play next to Jeffrey Simmons. I don't think I'd be bitching if I were him, because Simmons is going to take up a lot of pressure, and he's going to be coming off the edge scot-free.
Okay, and then, hey, Somber, next week when we do it, we'll do it your way. But we'll try the positional value slider all the way left with the lack of blue chips. Unfortunately, we see Jordan Tyson goes number 5. Caleb Downs to Cleveland is not something I would want to see, because I do like his game a lot. But, I mean, top 10 pick for a safety is a little bit high, but he might be the one exception to that here recently.
He warrants that, in my opinion. That's not just a Buckeye take. Just if you watch his tape, even as a freshman at Alabama, you could tell that kid's different. So,
And then we got Sonny Styles going to the Commanders. That's a good pick. They need defense desperately. Mekhi Lemon to the Saints. Hate to see that.
Yeah.
Carnell Tate, who I like, to the Chiefs. That could be very interesting. If this happens, I will go burn Cincinnati Stadium to the ground if they get my boy Jeremiah Love. I don't see them doing that, but
that's a weird one.
Love is a special talent, though. However we say his name, tackle from Miami, like Jake Smith.
Mauiaga.
Yeah, Mauiaga. Keldrick Falk to the Cowboys. Okay, could maybe looking for that Micah Parsons replacement. Don't know if he's it, but he is pretty good.
I don't have him that high.
Yeah, and then Delaney, who I like a lot, is going to the Rams. Surprising. But they do need some more secondary help. Denzel Boston, another wide receiver off the board. Not to a team we would want to see get him either.
Yeah, we don't need that in division.
Yep. And then Jermod McCoy goes to the Bucks. Kind of a neat pick there. Caleb Banks, I do like a lot. I like Woods better, but I do like his game. I've seen him a lot for the Gators. Hate Cassius Howell. Glad he's going to the Lions. That means Dan Campbell is blowing up the team. Kind of surprised the Vikings go slot corner there. And the Panthers getting a nice big piece for the defensive line is a nice get for them. Cowboys kind of doubling up Cade McDonald. He might be the best nose tackle in the draft. I think Peter Woods can play there, but I do like Cade McDonald's game too. Yeah.
I mean, well, Caleb Banks. So it was interesting. I saw McShay talking about him the other day and talking about how, like, when he wants to be, he's the most dominant player. Especially at the Senior Bowl, they talked about when he wanted to be, he was the most dominant player at the Senior Bowl. and then there was times where he just doesn't care. It's going to be interesting to see like how he goes through pro days and through the combine stuff, because he could slide up or down some boards depending on how teams have an outlook on his effort. Very similar to like, honestly, like it's kind of similar to like some of the Carter stuff when Carter was coming out.
Yeah, he really could. He could slide up or down. And then just taking a look at who's available for us here, I do like Spencer Fano a lot. Ione, I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm pretty sure I am, from Penn State, the guard.
Ione, yeah.
I think we could easily pass on an edge here.
Yeah, I do like
This-
TJ Parker.
This next guy, he's
Kenyon
so
Sadiq.
interesting. Kenyon Sadiq. I don't think we can go tight end in the first round, but wow. I'm talent for days. Could end up being like a Brock Bowers kind of guy.
Oh, he's athletic as all get out. I mean, he's going to be one of those darlings in the combine. His numbers are going to be pretty ridiculous. You can tell this is a Browns fan still.
Get
He
the
wants it to
quarterback
take
from
Tyson.
You came to the wrong version of the mock draft. You need Dave on for that. Just out of curiosity, because we know wide receiver is a position I need. Let's see who the best ones on the board are.
Casey Concepcion.
Yeah,
Because I don't think you were in on a lot of this talk, or at least I don't remember your take on it. How would you feel about KC Concepcion at 21 right now?
don't like it. I feel like while he's dynamic and explosive, I don't like the hands. And it's not that he's just, and it's usually concentration drops. So while he's a beast, I think there's other guys we could get later on in the draft. Personally, I love Chris Bell, but you can't pick him here. And
Not
I
with an
really,
injury.
yeah, there's some really interesting wide receivers who I think down the board we can get. Just out of curiosity, I don't normally do this in the mocks, or I didn't last year. But since they're offering us 6 trades, I guess we could always see what's available here. Looks like the Browns the Bears want to trade with us. I don't know that I'd trade down 4 spots here, but I don't see the harm if we picked up. Who else is trying to get up here? The Bills, the Broncos, the Cardinals, the Raiders, and the Colts. Any of those intriguing enough to maybe try and get a double dip pick here?
No, because I think the guy I would take right now is still on the board for us.
Okay. So who are you thinking?
I would go Ione here if he's still available. I mean, replace a direct replacement as a lock-in starter for Isaac Seumalo right out of the gates in the first round. I consider guard a pretty heavy position of need. We talked about this a little bit last night when we went through some of our position of need stuff. I think guard could potentially be more important than corner. And the way the contract is structured right now, although I don't think it stays this way, even more important than safety at the moment, because Ramsey technically is still on the team. So I think guard, shoring up a young offensive line, we've invested so much in that group, I would be completely fine going guard here. How do you think? What do you feel?
Yeah, I'm 100%. I the way I've been mocking in most of my drafts is I've seen Mayaga drop here, and if he's available, I take him, no questions asked, because I think he's the best tackle in the draft. But then if he's not, and I like Fano, but not to the point of, okay, I'm going to kick Roderick inside for Fano. So yeah, I totally agree. Let's go for the guard. PFF, I'm probably not going to give us a great grade here, but let's take a look at some.
Probably not.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's scroll up here and see who we missed out on by going there. Bear with me as it works up. Okay, so Concepcion to the Bills. Nah, I'm okay with that. You know, give him a wide receiver. Look who went the very next pick to the Chargers. I don't know why the Chargers would do that with Gadsden, but man, you're talking about a 2 tight end offense with Gadsden and Sadiq. That could be pretty interesting.
two
And
pure receiving tight ends. Actually, oddly enough, I think he might be the better blocker of the two, Kenyon Sadiq.
that's true. And then Cisse goes to the, I think I'm saying that right, goes to the Eagles. Interesting pick to go corner again there. Spencer Fano to the Browns. I would like that pick for them. They, get a solid.
Well, they need offensive line talent for sure. They got a lot of free agents on that offensive line.
Caleb Lomu to the Niners. Don't hate that. Trent Williams is getting up there.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Kristen Miller to the Texans could be a real problem. A good defensive line gets better.
Mm-hmm.
And TJ Parker, the edge, goes to the Rams. A good defense again, corner and edge. Caden Proctor to the Broncos. Yeah, I think he's more of a second-round pick, but you're picking 30th. Messidor, I know a lot of people like him going to the Patriots. I'm a little surprised about that. This is a guy, I am really surprised Chris Bell still goes in the first year because we talked on Sunday about his injury issues. Personally, I love the guy, and I think if he was healthy, he would go here. But if he's remotely healthy, man, do the rich get richer here. The Seahawks had Chris Bell to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Oh, my gosh.
So they have 6 wide receivers going in the first round in this draft. That's nuts.
It's and of them, Chris Bell, I'm really surprised.
Yeah, with that injury, you're waiting on a while for that kid to play.
And then, thank God, Ty Simpson goes to the Jets. His lifelong dream.
I'm sure it is.
Once upon a time, there was an Alabama quarterback who went to the Jets who had a pretty good run, Hall of Fame career. His name was not Greg McElroy. Guy I know you and David like a lot. I am warming to him. McNeil Warren goes to the Cardinals.
That kid's really good. He's really good.
Reminds me a lot of Watts last year from Notre Dame. Like, does everything good.
He does everything good for sure. And I can't remember, is Buda Baker free? No, he's not a free agent. He might be going into the last year of his contract though, and he's getting up there in age. I
think he is. Another edge to Tennessee. I don't know that they double up on edge. That's kind of dicey. And if this simulator gets better as combines and things happen, but weird things happen. Jimmy Bernard, guy I like, goes to the Raiders. That's interesting.
They need a wide receiver. I don't know if he's the guy, but they need a wide receiver.
Yeah, and then Lee Hunter, Pregnon. Anybody jump out on here? Dylan Thieneman. Hey, I like his game as a safety. Zion Young for Baltimore. Okay.
They needed talent off that edge for sure.
A lot of edges going. Guy I like here goes to the Colts, Anthony Hill. I have a feeling that kid's going to be pretty good. I mean, he's not Rodriguez or Sonny Styles, but I think he's going to be a productive player in the NFL. Chris Johnson, a guy I really like at cornerback, unfortunately goes to the Vikings, who have doubled up on corner. Don't think that's going to happen.
No.
D'Angelo Pons and Omar Cooper, one pick ahead of us here. So let's take a look. We got Eli Stowers, a guy I love, but I don't know that I'm going tight end here.
Probably not.
Yeah, don't love Colton Hood. You got Corleone, Jared Moore. Now, this guy is interesting right here. We need a playmaker. I know you didn't like the idea of Love. Price is very interesting to me. But a guy, and we could maybe trade back here, but Josiah Trotter, I'm interested to see how fast he runs at the combine. He could be an interesting guy. This is a guy I like too, Kamari Ramsey, the safety from USC.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like him.
And then we get a little further down. So let's see who wants to trade with us. The Chargers want to trade us pick 55. We want to try to work a little magic here and maybe get 55 and 86 for 53.
So moving back 2 spots to get 86 on top of it?
Which I don't know that they'll accept, but let's give it a shot.
Sure.
This trade, it says this trade will not be accepted. So,
They're not having it.
yeah, maybe if we throw in, we get 86, and let's throw in 121, we're up to a 29% chance. Boom! We got it. All right, so let's resume the draft. And now we still got choices here. We did lose out on Eli Stowers, but we still have these two guys interest me a lot. Jadarian Price, Josiah Trotter, and Kamari Ramsey. What do you think? Is there a position you want to look at?
I'm looking at Colton Hood separately.
Let's throw him up on the screen here and see what it says.
So we need a corner. As of right now, we only have one starter under contract.
Mm-hmm.
Colton Hood's a guy who is a man coverage guy, which I like. If you look at his man coverage grade, his overall coverage grade is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't hate him in this spot. 8 forced incompletions, and he primarily plays on the outside.
Kind of rangy, 6 foot 195.
Yeah, 1 interception. He gave up 1 touchdown in 3 years. Passer rating 69.5, 51.7. His obviously his first year playing was not ideal. His worst game was against Alabama. Alabama doesn't have great receivers, so that's kind of weird. It's kind of right in the middle of the season there. Played much better against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's obviously got a guy in this draft. I don't hate this pick here, so I think it would be maybe a matter of, do you like going corner here? Do you like going safety here?
Well, here's the question that I would have for you. Do we think Colton Hood is that much better than this is a guy I like later in the draft, Will Lee? Let's take a look. Doesn't have quite the grades, but his man coverage grade is actually a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little bit taller, a little bit bigger, a little bit older. This Malik Muhammad, I'm interested to see what he runs at the combine, but he's not very good at man coverage. He's more of a zone guy.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy too, honestly. Will Lee's more of a ball hawk, or a lot. He's given up a lot more touchdowns, I should say. He's not as much of a ball hawk. He had 2 in his first 2 years each, 2 interceptions each, but nothing this year. And his passer rating allowed 106.6. That kind of scares me a bit.
What do we think about these receivers here? Surratt is available for us. I know you don't like Brazil. Skylar Bell's a little further down the board. We could take Zachariah Branch just to please Colin.
Colin would absolutely love that. I think Surratt, to me, I'm not a huge Surratt guy, and I think he's going to run slow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd go that route.
We are getting pretty good value with Colton Hood here.
I like out of what's on the table. Personally, I like Colton Hood in this spot. Or if you wanted to go, I think Ramsey was there, the safety from USC.
Yeah, I was kind of torn.
Yeah, he's an option too.
And he's 6 foot. I would like it if he was a little bit bigger, but I think we go Hood because corner's a little bit more pressing need.
Yeah.
So we're going.
We have no start. We have JPJ right there. That's it.
Yeah. All right. And pretty surprisingly, Carson Beck goes right before our pick. So let's take a look here. Ramsey's off the board. We got Hood. Jadarian Price went to the Bills. I don't know why they would do that, except for, at some point they do need somebody interesting. The Rams go Chambliss here. Trotter to the Patriots, that could be a problem. I know a lot of people like Ilchinor. Raiders doubling up at wide receiver. Galen Everett's a guy I kind of like, but I I feel like he could be like some of these Georgia corners who came out recently. He's going to take 2 or 3 years in the league to get there. Guy I know you love, Skylar Bell, goes to the Browns.
I do like Skylar Bell a lot.
All right, so we got Carson Beck. So who do we got?
He might be a good fit there, actually. Like, I don't want him to go to the Browns, but he might not be a bad fit there, honestly. I saw somebody else ask who we drafted in the first. It was Oliva Vega.
Yeah.
Ione.
Yeah, actually, we can show that here. I'm pretty sure we can show it.
Yes, right next. Yep.
Yep. So far we got Ione and Hood. All right. So I guess we probably need to take a look at the wide receivers here at least.
Brazil is terrible.
This is a guy I'm willing to risk waiting a little bit. I do think this is a guy I would like to have, Malachi Fields.
I do like Malachi Fields. I like Stribling. Branch, look, I think Branch in the right offense could be an explosive guy. I think he's intriguing, but he's not going to be the right fit for us. Burks, I think he's another guy that I don't love him either. Williams, they're like one and the same. Burks and Antonio Williams, to me, they're very similar players. And honestly, of the list, Malachi Fields probably fits what we want more than most of these guys.
Yeah, and Steelers Blitz got a good point here. I mean, there were some tackles available to us early. I mean, Mayaga is my tackle one and Fano. I haven't watched a lot of tape on him, but all I hear is great things. So, but the way I looked at it is, who would I pick to kick Broderick inside with no questions asked? And it's only one guy. Everybody else, you're kind of like, okay, he's probably really good, but am I really going up the board?
Yeah.
Who was the overall best available? We certainly don't need a center.
We do not need a center. No. We really don't need a tight end in this spot. Man, Blake Miller being there.
It's interesting. Yeah, Nussmeier on the board. Not that I think we should do that. Here's a guy I really like. Okay, and I was very high on the other guy from Florida State last year, who I'm blanking on the spot of his name, but he's a guy I really liked, and he ended up having a really good season. This Florida State guys, for some reason, always play way better in the NFL than they ever do in college. It's really been since Bobby Bowden left. But Florida State still attracts talent, but they have not had great coaching outside of a couple of years with Jimbo. This is an interesting name because I do think we need defensive line help. And yeah. I do think he's a guy who could really help us. And none of these other guys above him are really blowing me away. I don't know that I'm going to go tackle after I went O-line. So.
Yeah, I know. Blake Miller's just interesting. The fact that he's down here on this list still, like, I like him. I don't like any of the wide receiver options at this point.
This is an interesting name. So these are two interesting names.
Wheatley
and Rodriguez. I think these are both players. And we traded down a little bit. You know, would I hate it if we shored up the linebacker? If Queen goes, and I know you think he will, I'm not 100% convinced they're going to get rid of him. But Rodriguez, nice little skill set right there. Really nice little skill set. And personally, I like Wheatley, although I know we could wait on him probably till our next pick, maybe even a couple of picks.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm thinking a defensive lineman here. What do you?
I'm fine with that. We can do that. I think Jackson's a nice player too.
So let's see who we got.
Still on the board.
Yeah, we got Ione, Colton Hood, Darrell Jackson. Biggest thing is quarterback and wide receiver, and we're just ignoring them. Um, let's take a look at who went right. Branch goes right before. Not that if he was here at 85, I'd be okay with this. This is actually a good question from Magic. I mean, personally, if we go off recent history, probably 2 or 3 starters. And
I'm seeing people
3.
saying 4 and 5. I'm like, God damn, you guys are high expectations in the draft.
Well, I think it could be like, where we get a Joey, a Broderick, but then we get a Herbig and a Darnell. So key contributors, definitely big pieces of the football team, but not necessarily the classic starter. You know what I mean? But there's no denying. I mean, when you look back over the drafts, 21 picks, 13 are key contributors out of 21 picks so far
Yeah.
for Elmar and Andy.
Yeah. I mean, getting 4 or 5 starters in a draft is insane, but we could definitely look at getting 3 in this draft, especially if the picks that we have, so many in the 3rd round.
Yeah, our boys are still here, Jacob. I would be remiss not looking at wide receiver. Dave's probably screaming.
Same guys.
Yeah.
Outside of a couple got drafted.
And then Collins draft crush is sitting out here. Eric Rivers,
Yep.
who I like. Bryce Lance, who I do think there will be some attraction. Ted Hurst, I think, was Dave's guy.
Yeah. I'm still fine waiting on wide receiver. Your top 2 guys are not 2 guys that I'm interested in. So I'm still fine waiting on. I think Zakee Wheatley becomes the real interesting pick for me here, getting a safety. I honestly think Patrick Queen, they're talking about Patrick Queen in the chat. They got me all thrown off now. I think Jalen Ramsey is probably gone. That contract's too easy to dump. I just don't see him being around any longer. And Wheatley feels like a guy who fits this organization just way too easily to pass him up at this point.
Gotten better every year. Nice coverage grade. Plays good against the run. Big guy. I like he doesn't weigh tremendously more than Ramsey from USC, but 6'2" frame, I think he ends up playing 6'2".
There's even, if the board wouldn't have fallen the way that it fell in this one, I wouldn't mind waiting on safety because there's a couple guys who I continuously see dropping below this spot right here. Bud Clark from TCU is one. He was kind of the Senior Bowl darling.
Yeah.
Michael Taff out of Texas is another guy that I really think is interesting. He's got great ball production through his collegiate career. And I keep seeing him falling into like the 5th round. So, I mean, the way the board fell, I would be fine picking. I love Jacob Rodriguez. I think he might be one of my favorite 3rd round guys that's been consistently mocked in the 3rd round. As a linebacker, the PQ contract right now looks horrible. I don't know if he's going to be around, what McCarthy's going to want to do with that whole situation. But he's another one that I think is intriguing. I would be between either of those 2 guys at this pick.
Well, based on the fact we've got back-to-back picks, I think
we could do both.
So let's thanks to our trade. So we'll pick Rodriguez first, and then let's come back here and take Wheatley, and then we'll hope for the best at wide receiver.
Let's do it. There's still plenty of receivers left.
I think I'm not going to be happy. Malachi Fields to the Patriots.
Oh,
yikes.
God.
Antonio Williams to the 49ers. I think he's going to be a solid pro wide receiver.
That'd be an interesting fit with him and your other boy over there in San Francisco.
Oh, Ricky Pearsall?
Yeah, that'd be an interesting fit.
Got a field stretcher and a more of a technician. All right, so I think at this point we've ignored wide receiver a lot, but let's see what we got. I think we're kind of reaching here. Jacoby Lane, I don't necessarily love his game.
Pick 99 and the best. Oof. The best is only 5. It's Collins, dude, still a stretch at this point. What do you think about Stribling? Out of curiosity,
So here's the thing. Mississippi wide receivers have been good in the NFL. Mike Wallace, DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown. You know, they don't put a lot, but when they put one in, it's usually a quality guy. 6'2", 210, not a giant, but he could be interesting. I don't know. Not much, based on his size, not much of a contested catch guy.
He's not.
Doesn't have a great grade against man coverage. You know, just comparatively to, like, let's say a guy who I actually do like a lot. I think he reminds me a lot of Christian Watson coming out as far as from a talent standpoint. He's big, rangy. I think he's going to run really, really fast. Big contested catch rate. No, you know, most teams aren't dumb enough to play man in Division II. You know, they'll go zone.
Yeah.
And he's certainly a guy we could potentially wait on.
There's still some guys we could wait on if we don't go Stribling here. I just think he's an intriguing guy. He just I don't know. Maybe it's nostalgia. He reminds me so much of Mike Wallace.
Yeah.
Like, he is Mike Wallace to me.
Just looking at what else is available around it, I think we're probably stretching up just a little bit to take him here, but
we're getting cooked for ignoring wide receiver.
Yeah, but
the board's falling the way it's falling.
Yeah, if you look at the guy, the only guy I felt like we missed on was not getting Fields, but based on the fact we got our two defenders, I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. So, you know, Ione, I think, is going to help us right away. Hood helps us right away. Darnell Jackson helps us right away. I think we have just rebuilt the defense and freed up a massive amount of salary cap.
Oh, yeah.
We were picking.
If you drop PQ and you drop Jalen Ramsey, I think you're pushing $37 million in cap space that you free up, roughly. It's probably in that ballpark, 35.
I think we gotta take him based on the fact there's a lot of guys we like who I think are going to be available to us at 135.
Who are we taking?
I think we got to take Stribling.
All right, let's do it.
And if he turns out to be Mike Wallace, I don't necessarily hate it.
I'll take Mike Wallace all day.
Okay, so now pick 135. Let's see who went off the board here. Any big names that came off the board here? Come here. Club Nick goes to the car. Yeah, let him go to the Cardinals. Let's see how that works out. Bud Clark, the guy you like, safety, going to the Bengals. Julian Neal's an intriguing guy for the Dolphins. I could see that maybe working. DJ Campbell, not a bad, especially this late, not a bad guy to help shore up the offensive line. Ooh, this is a guy I love, Eli Raridan. And yes, I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I do like Eli Raridan's game.
He's
and him going
6'7", isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like 6'7".
Him going to the Eagles to kind of transition away from Goddard because he's getting older. I don't hate that pick at all. And then McAllister to the Bills. I do not want to see that happen because I do think he could end up easily being Josh Allen's number one. Lane to the Niners. I don't care about that. Eric Rivers to the Saints. They're picking a lot of wide receivers. All right.
Corb said you love every Notre Dame guy that comes up.
That is not true. I did not like Riley Leonard at all.
And this sounds like he's making a play for us to go get Drew Aller. I didn't see that little face he put up there, so I think he's advocating for Drew Aller.
I would no, yeah. We're executive decision. We're not picking Drew Aller.
No, thank you.
But just out of curiosity, who are the quarterbacks available? Drew Aller, no.
Drew Aller, and then anybody in the 7th round.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what that list is.
Yeah, I'm totally any one of these three. much later, I'm cool with. You know, there was a time where Tommy Castellanos, but he's a mighty mouse, and I just don't think he's got it. Yeah, there's a Gronkowski at quarterback. How did that happen? So, Jalen Kilgore, I'm always big on South Carolina defensive guys. I don't know what the fuck that coaching staff does to people, but I was in love with Nick Amenwari coming out last year. I think Kilgore would have benefited from going back to school for a year, maybe somewhere else. But I'm also, this far down at 135. He's an interesting guy. He could turn into something.
He's a weird pick. He's like a big nickel.
Mm-hmm.
6'1", 211, played 157 snaps in the box, 497 in the slot, 4 at outside, and 9 deep. I mean, he's truly inside all the time. He's almost like they almost use him similar to like a linebacker. He's just a weird, and that 211 like size, I don't know. Somber's asking if you can show the picks so far.
Yep, I'm showing them. So far we've got Colton, we've got Ione, Colton Hood, Darrell Jackson, Jacob Rodriguez, Zachy Wheatley, Dejon Stribling. You know what? I think we should double up at wide receiver right here.
I'm with you, honestly. I would taking Bryce Lance here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that kid.
And I do think the Green Bay connection to North Carolina State, he'll get some inside info on it. Stribling and Lance is a nice get after not taking for so long. Well, we also know that we're going to either sign Alec Pierce or Romeo Dobbs. So,
Somber is saying another wide receiver. We got you there.
Yeah.
D tackle. Maybe another linebacker or an edge. Maybe a tackle late.
Yep. Okay. So we got Mike Washington. I don't necessarily. I mean, if we're not getting Price or Love, and yes, I'm snobbing it about Notre Dame. I don't know that we actually do really need a running back that bad. Just those guys. Love. I think we all know. I think he's the best player in the draft. So
right. Yeah.
I mean, I think he's going to be special.
I don't know enough about Mike Washington. He's a guy I haven't really looked at a lot yet, so I'm not sure about him. Le'Veon Moss might be the most talented late round guy, but he's there for a reason. He's been
Mike Washington's a big guy
every season.
6'2", 228.
I do like the big dudes at running back. I'm not gonna lie.
So, I know you're a Caleb Johnson fan. I did not like him, but I also didn't. I thought it was a waste based on who you had with Jaylen Warren. Do we think Caleb gets any run with Mike McCarthy?
I think it feels like a fresh start for him.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you would have to imagine that kid's probably going to get a chance this year. But if he's not improved his pass protection, then there's a really good chance that they may be looking to bring in a free agent or a late round flyer. I don't think I would go running back at this point based on who's available.
These are two guys I like a lot. I know you think Lewis will be a safety in the NFL. I think he could maybe be that dime linebacker. And still be pretty effective. Kind of a little bit of I think he's a more productive, potentially Peyton Wilson type where he can run and cover. But I do like his game. And the other guy right below, this would be two guys from Mississippi. Dave, if you're watching, close your eyes.
He is watching. He's ready to roll.
I don't hate that. I think tight end is a low-key need. I mean, I know McCarthy doesn't use a lot of 3 tight end sets, but I think after what the Rams did and showed that there's an innovative way to do it and actually throw to them, because we know Darnell's not we don't think Darnell's going anywhere. I mean, at least I don't.
No, I think he's going to get a second contract here.
Yeah, and Pat's already under contract, so but I really don't. Yeah, I like Daquan Wright. Summer, yeah, Lewis. I like Lewis too because you either convert him to safety as the Elliott replacement, and you have time to do that. I'm not saying we replace Elliott this year, but you give him a year or two as special teams demon, dime linebacker, occasional safety. Man, I kind of
So,
like it.
yeah, let me rationalize this Lewis pick a little further too. There's another big cap hit who doesn't do anything but play on rundowns.
Yeah,
Malik Harrison is, I think, $6 million against the cap this year.
yeah.
Like he could be a real easy cap hit on this. Now, Lewis, I don't know. I didn't see this. He's listed, I think, 225 on here. I swear somebody said he was at like 205 or 204 or something like that at the Senior Bowl. Does anybody know if that's true? Because I swear somebody said his measurements were really undersized weight-wise.
Although I did hear a lot of good things out of the Senior Bowl that he was a demon on the field.
Oh, everybody loved him. Yeah, he was a star there.
Makes plays and it's interesting that he actually played better in 24 than 23. I mean, doesn't have his age on here, so that always concerns me a little bit because I think Pitt was actually a little better team this year than they were last year.
I mean, but look, I mean, the ACC, he had a 75 run grade on top of all that. I mean, he makes plays. I mean, there's no arguing. And where we're at in the draft right now,
yeah,
I think I would take a playmaking linebacker who doesn't have to be your every down linebacker, who you can play situationally, and you could be a big contributor right off the bat.
And I will say this. Remember the name. We laughed at it last year. I said all along, this is not a throwaway, pick for some guy because he had a Steeler father. I think Carson Bruner is the guy. If we can let Malik Harrison go and let Carson Bruner play that spot, and I don't think we lose much on the rundowns. I really don't.
Yeah.
So,
possibly.
So we're going with the Pitt kid, Kyle Lewis.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I like that pick.
All right, so now we're into the pick 213. Maybe we should just take a quick glance at who the quarterbacks are. I don't know that I like Jalen Daniels. Frankly, I don't know a lot about him. It's okay grades, 2,500 yards. 6 foot quarterback, 23.
I don't like him.
Yeah, I know. I like all three of these guys. I if you told me any one of the three and whatever happens. Different skill sets. I mean, Tellen Green probably has the tantalizing could turn into something. He's a little bit bigger than Malik Willis, but if he got in the right offensive staff and sat for 2 or 3 years, I could see him maybe turning the corner like Malik Willis seemed to on tape this year.
Yeah. I'm glad Somber cleared this up because it makes me feel a lot better about Lewis. So then I'm not looking at converting him. I'm fine at 224 pounds. I'm fine keeping linebacker.
Absolutely. So we worked out. It worked out perfect.
Yeah.
So are we going to take a? So we know who's here for quarterback. Let's take a look at what else we got. I haven't watched any tape on Robert Henry, so I'll have to see him run.
Me either.
Faison was an interesting name at the beginning of the year, but I think South Carolina was so bad. He has fallen down the boards. He's another guy. I got to see him run at the combine, but he was really good in 23 and 24. Like, I think if he come out last year, he would have been a 3rd or 4th round pick.
Yeah, he's kind of an interesting guy for sure. I thought when I saw the name, I'm like, he had a pretty decent season, right? And then I looked more into him, I'm like, maybe not. What about, is Kalen Black still on the board?
It's like what?
Running back. He's the running back out of Indiana.
I don't mind the Navy fullback if we're going to move on from Connor Hayward.
Vaughn wants us to get all professional. We need the ESPN ticker, apparently.
I'll work on it. I'll see if I can do it. Kalen Black, he is here. That's an interesting.
I love that kid.
Name.
I love that kid. I would take him here because I think he's very versatile. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got a little juice to his game. I know he was the backup, and I like Hemby also, who should be off the board by now. But Black, I think he's probably the most intriguing guy on this list, in my opinion. I would take him here right now.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of like. I think the idea of Faison, if you could recapture what he was for 2 really good years, but there could be some tread on the tire there too issues. So
yeah. I like him and Jalen. I think you can run that same pairing that we saw this year with he and Gainwell, and then you still have the bigger back if he ever gets his shit together and gets on the field, but you still have the bigger back in the room.
And being that we had back-to-back picks here, we get our pick of who we want.
Corb, don't be talking about who's at the door. They're not at the door. That's our draft pick chime. Okay.
Yes, that's our new draft pick chime. So the quarterbacks are all still here, and just out of curiosity, let's just take a look and see who's available in the corners. TJ Hall's an interesting kid. These are stretch guys for sure.
I'm confused. Wait, Greg, are you bashing Chip Trainum? Because don't even get me. I will pull out some stats about Chip Trainum here in about a second. I like Chip Trainum.
Do we think this late in the draft, late in the 6th, are we going quarterback, or do we maybe want to look at an edge just in case?
I would be fine looking at edge at this point.
Patrick Payton's, anytime you're looking at an LSU kid, he's a little undersized. You'd have to put some weight on him. In the hopes that he's good and he brings his brother with him at some point. I don't hate Logan Fano.
Yeah.
And
he actually had he had a lot better stats than I thought he had.
He's another big guy. Yeah.
I did not think he had some of the stats that he had. So Logan Fano, 6'5", 260. He was kind of that size range we look for at our edge defenders. He had a 76.8 run defense grade, 74.8 pass rush grade. His true pass rush set grade was 76.9, 15.6 pass rush win rate. Not terrible. He lined up outside tackle almost exclusively. He had 5 sacks this year, 8 hits, 21 hurries, 2 batted balls.
Had a nice little run here too at the end of the season with his grades. I mean, he was pretty good against West Virginia, but then again, who isn't? Then you had Brigham Young, probably the best team on their schedule. Baylor. Yeah. I mean, especially with TJ and Flux, I don't know that we're going wrong here picking this guy this late.
Yeah. Mason Reiger might be interesting just because he has the Wisconsin connection that we look for in the edge guys. Similar build, 6'5", 248. Run defense, 78 even. Pass rush, grade 83 even. 15.8 pass rush win rates. He had 6 sacks, 7 hits, 32 hurries, which is interesting.
But they're all lower grades, so I wonder, just from a grading standpoint here, if we shouldn't look at quarterback. Maybe go. Who do you like? So who do you like out of those three as far as quarterback goes? I mean, if we're gonna have a 6th-round draft pick hit, let's pick one that we think can actually.
I'm out on Daniels. I know Luke Altmaier had a nice little Senior Bowl, but I think Sawyer Robertson might be a more intriguing pick if we're going with a quarterback at this point. I think Robertson's got some better tools to work with in his game. I know he didn't have like the great season. He started out of the gates pretty freaking hot, but then he cooled off pretty hard.
Yeah, and Taylor Green was massively overmatched.
He's the most intriguing guy. I mean, if you're taking a guy, why not take the guy with all the tools and you know he had shit coaching in college?
I agree. 6'6", 235, and I think he's mobile.
He's got a rocket arm, and he runs like a 4.5. I mean, he can move.
Yeah. So I let's take a flyer on Green. It's the 6th
right.
round. What the hell?
Yep, let's go for it.
All right. So I'm pretty sure all our edges are going to still be on the board here. So
Should be.
Let's take a look here.
And maybe pick up a backup tackle somewhere along the way too.
Yeah, we still got, and you're right about the Wisconsin thing here. That's although with Mike Tomlin being gone, maybe they're not as beholden to that system.
Yeah, that's the thing we won't know, right? I mean, we have no idea if we're going to kind of keep going through these same pipelines that we typically go through.
Mm-hmm. And then see Magic's asking about Herbig. I don't think he's causing really any drama. I think he just wants to be a starter and he knows is basically if he doesn't get a contract before the season starts, he's playing on a lame duck. And he's not going to want to sit behind Highsmith and Watt if he's playing for his money.
Yeah.
I think it would be a monumental mistake to trade him.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 other guys in that same room I would trade before trading him, and they're both starters.
Yeah, and not that.
And Alex played really well down the stretch. Don't get me wrong, and I was advocating to trade him before, but like, I would trade TJ's contract right now before I traded Nick Herbig. There's no way I'm even considering going the other way with this.
Do you dump him for a 3rd if you can get it?
I think I might. I would definitely be thinking about it.
I would. It's kind of sad to think it, but I mean, I don't know that anybody would give us a 3rd. I think we may even be looking at a 4th because of that contract.
If there's a team who thinks they're an edge rusher away from the Super Bowl, they would definitely give a 3rd for TJ and eat the contract. But you're talking about you have to be getting a contender to trade for TJ at this point. We can dig more into that once we finish up the draft.
Yep, absolutely. So we're going Fano or Riger?
I'm honestly I could go either way.
Let's go
I
Fano.
mean, okay.
Yeah, this way we can maybe get his brother in free agency down the road.
Yeah. We know we like the connections with the brothers here.
Hey, Magic, we have a big draft show. It's the Steelers Sanctuary Draft Pass, and I can tell you we have a game that we play. So, yeah, getting the picks right, you can end up winning some prizes. And Somber did pretty well last year. But the defending champion is Vaughn. All right, so last pick, our Mr. Irrelevant here.
Any tackles on the list? Do we have any tackles on the list still?
We got Elijah Pritchett from Nebraska. Let's take a look and see what we got.
If he did in the draft was wrong.
Do we take a couple of Pitt kids? Can't take another Ole Miss guy just on GP.
Yeah, Dave would, oh God. We'd never hear the end of it.
Easton Murphy from Auburn.
Who were the guys?
There's some ADP guys here. Elijah Pritchett. Hang on one second. I just want to. It looks like Trevor Brock from Buffalo. Let's just say a small college wonder here. Run block, pass block. 6'5", 314.
Bob just got the notification that TJ Watt has been traded for a 3rd round pick.
Let's see here. Nope. LeBron James expects to stay with the Lakers throughout the season. Like we care.
Yeah. Could care less.
Yes. I'm kind of okay with really any of these guys. None of them really stick out. I mean,
I was trying to think. Elijah Pritchett gave up 5 sacks. Played exclusively at left tackle. Might be a guy ends up being a swing tackle.
Yeah,
not a great run block grade.
Florida State kid's pretty consistent. Got a decent run block and pass block grade.
He's a monster too.
6'7", 349.
Yeah, I would take a shot at a guy with that size just to see what happens. I don't know. I can't say I know a ton about Pettis, to be honest with you, but at that size,
we know he's as big as Darnell.
At least he's an offensive tackle on this team that is as big as Darnell. We finally got one.
They of course ticked us off here for not taking Fano. So C+ for Ione, kind of expected. They don't love you taking a guard. We picked up an A for Colton Hood. Got a C for Daryl Jackson. Funny that we get a C for Jacob Rodriguez, but immediately get a B+ for Zachy Wheatley.
Yeah, we should have switched them. We probably got better grades for both of them.
That's true. We maybe could have got Rodriguez down here when we got Striblin.
Yeah.
You know what, though? If we had done that, we'd have got Malachi Fields.
Maybe
Yeah.
we could have.
It could be interesting. Kyle Lewis, we only got a C+. Caleb Black, C-. I'm surprised about that. Got to be.
He's been going so late in some of these mocks I've done. But I don't care. I'd take that kid there in a heartbeat in the 6th round.
We got a B+ for Micah Pettis. You know, based on the way the board fell, it kind of fell a little weird. We probably could have gone wide receiver a little bit earlier, but
6 wide receivers in the 1st round is definitely a weird mock because I can't see any world where 6 wide receivers go in the 1st round. I mean, I don't know. That's wild to me.
yeah, and based on
David Bell with a torn ACL with like 2 weeks left in the collegiate season is going in the 1st round in this mock. That was a good one there.
And if we're looking at starters, I think round 1 is a starter.
Oh
round 2 is a starter. Round 3 is a solid rotational guy.
Rotational. Rodriguez could start day 1.
Yep. Zachy Wheatley, I think, will start day 1.
He would start day 1, I think.
And then one of these two
Stribling
wide
and Lance would be
receivers.
battling it out to be a starter.
Yeah, it's depending on who we get. You know, if you get Dobbs, you get Pierce. That could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kyle Lewis is a low-key contributor, not a starter, but
He
could turn
definitely
into one.
Yeah.
And Black ultimately is competing with Caleb, and if it really depends on whether Gainwell comes back.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be interesting. I mean, overall, I like this grade. It's funny we got a B+ for the guy we neither one of us know a lot about.
Yeah.
We just picked him on size.
Yeah, it's size 6'7", 347 or whatever it said. Yeah, we'll take him.
Okay, how hilarious would it be? Let's just say we did draft him, and he shows up to camp, and Darnell is still bigger than that guy.
Oh, good Lord.
Then at that point, then you got to really start asking some questions.
Yeah. Darnell's an absolute monster, dude. He was a big miss in that playoff game. I mean, not that he would have made us win that game or anything, but, I mean, they missed him in that playoff game, you could tell, for sure.
Yeah, I actually – and I don't think you can discount the fact that he could have given help on Anderson and some of the other guys.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, do I think they still would have won the game? Probably not. But do I think that does Darnell maybe make a big difference in the red zone and maybe we score a touchdown or two? I think it's maybe a different game if, C.J. Stroud's all of a sudden he's down, 14-6 instead of 7-6. Maybe he goes rogue like he did against the Patriots.
Yeah. Pump the brakes, Corb, okay? My boy KJ's going to come on strong this year. There's no Mike Tomlin to hold him back. Pump the brakes. Actually, it depends if we run an outside zone scheme like we had in Iowa and what Arthur Smith ran, so maybe KJ won't be quite as effective.
Let me download the image here so we can post it. We're going to put this up on social media so we can kind of track as we go. And I'm sure this will wildly change throughout the season as we do these mocks. I think last year, by the time, just after the combine rolled around, I started to get pretty consistent with the 2 or 3 guys I liked.
Yeah.
I don't see it changing much for me as far as where we are in the range. There's only, I don't think we'll take a wide receiver in the first round and kind of insisted on that. I think if one of these linemen, the guard, that I don't care what the grade is from PFF, I think that's the right move. I mean, unless something crazy.
Who do you
happens.
see? Like, who are your? Because I don't think we've really discussed this yet. Who do you see as our top needs? Take quarterback out of the picture because we all think Rodgers is coming back. But who do you see as the top needs? Like the next 3 or 4 needs on the.
I go corner, wide receiver, and guard are my top 3. And then I look from a draft value standpoint of if I can get the best guard in the draft in the first round versus the 6th wide receiver and maybe the 3rd corner, I'm going to take the best guard. And if I can get Mayaga, who I think is the best tackle, if he falls there, that's value I don't think you can pass up. Matter of fact, if he falls past 15, I wouldn't hate trading up to get it, just depending on what you give up to do it. And it'd be a pretty clear signal to Broderick that, hey, man, good luck in your endeavors. But I'm not 100% sold Broderick can't be a guy who kicks inside the guard and put on 20, 30 pounds and turn into Mekhi Becton.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so hard to think about what you want to do because you need a guard. And I think there's actually some really solid guards in free agency this year. And there's actually a couple of them that are pretty young still that you could go get and add and be a plug-and-play starter. And so if you were going to trade up for a tackle, you would have to make that move, in my opinion, to go shore up the guard spot as well. I have wide receiver first. Guard is my number 2. Again, this is without the quarterback discussion. Then I have corner, but I think we're going to try to bring both Asante Samuel back and James Pierre. I especially the way Pierre played this year. I can't imagine them not wanting to bring that guy back into the fold. So then that drops that need down my list a little bit. Safety is probably moves up that list for me if corner drops. Because I do think Jalen Ramsey's gone. I don't think there's going to be much of a question about it, to me at least. I would move on from Jalen Ramsey and his contract.
I don't think he's going to be as opposed to restructuring as you think. It's really going to depend on, I think him and the defensive coordinator are in the talk. And he's going to say, look, was I transitioning last year, but how are you going to use me? What's the plan? Is it the best for me at this stage of my career to trust and throw in to you? Because, my fear with Ramsey is that if he goes to a really good team, they're gonna let him play that safety nickel hybrid, and he's just gonna turn into a beast. I think our scheme was so bad last year defensively that we didn't do him any favors. He didn't play great, but I mean, if we were expecting Deion Sanders level football out of him, where he was just going to cover a guy all over the field, from a safety standpoint, I would have put him in safety in game 1 if I was going to do it, and then occasionally mix him up on the and let him play a little corner here and there. But they didn't. They kind of put him in no man's land. I'm not 100% convinced that his drop off last year was not scheme related.
So I think Pierre could get paid. Yes. Even though he's 29, he's going into season 30. I think so too.
And I think Caboli kind of had a good point about that this morning. He's been in the league a while, and he hadn't made much money. He put Kenneth Gainwell in this category. At some point, yes, would we love to get him back for $3 or $4 million a year? But if anybody offers $8 or $10, man, you gotta, this is a guy who's made league minimum for a long time. You gotta go do it.
Let's play this Jalen Ramsey game at safety for a second, because he's I think $19.5 million against the cap right now.
It's got to be restructured. It can't be well, with the salary cap. I guess you would carry it for a year and it wouldn't hurt you. But ideally, if that's the plan,
all right,
Jalen, we'll give you free for.
Is he better than Derwin James?
At safety today, probably not, but could he be in that level? Yes.
Not even close.
Well,
is he better? I don't think it's even remotely close between those two.
I think Derwin James is massively overrated.
I disagree. Buda Baker.
Baker has been good for a long time. I don't think he played particularly well this year. So, yeah, about equal.
Now, this one I say he would be in this ballpark. Xavier McKinney from the Packers.
Well, it's hard to predict with Ramsey because what I'm looking at is Hall of Fame corner who turns to safety. I'm thinking Charles and Rod Woodson. Could he have that second act? Did he have that kind of talent? Yeah, he did. So, and those guys weren't instantly great. Well, Rod Woodson was instantly great. Charles Woodson took a little time. Not a lot, but he took a little. So, again, are we 100% convinced he can't play nickel corner? I'm not.
Yeah. He got cooked when he was in there. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I thought he looked okay. Then it felt like the longer the season went on, he was really, really struggling in that press man look.
I think a lot of it, too, was, he's looking around, and with the exception of Joey and Echols, who played okay, not a lot of real, and Pierre did better as the season came. But remember, Pierre and those guys didn't really come on as corners until Ramsey dropped back. I don't think they used him nearly enough as a ball hog. I would have told him flat out, say, just go where you think the ball's going to go. Don't worry about playing a spot. Don't be true safety. Just go where you think the ball's going to go and hawk it. And then see what happens. And
do you think he's better than Jesse Bates from the Falcons?
Different player. I'm not a huge fan of Jesse Bates. I think Ramsey's a bigger hitter. Bates is probably the better safety, though, in fairness. But I don't like him.
So we're down in the $16 million range right now. So he's got to at least restructure down below that.
Yeah, but let's be honest. So he's guaranteed 19. If the team comes to him and says, Jalen, we'll guarantee you the 19. But we want you to go to 3 for 30 because you're going to play safety. If he's okay with that and wants to do it, I don't see I don't see that you don't bring that guy back just to be a nickel safety leader of your defense. Because let's face it, he can still hit. He is a force out there.
Oh yeah, he can. I mean, he's definitely a big hitter. There's no doubt about that. I don't. He didn't have a bad season. I just didn't think. I mean, he really has to commit to being a safety full time to me to bring him back, and I don't know if right now he's worth the contract he's on. He definitely has to restructure, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
I think he should take a pretty significant pay cut.
Right. Or
Even if they wanted to redo it and do a 2-year deal where he gets most of the money up front as a prove it type of contract.
yeah, you're
But
already
not at
under.
19 million.
Yeah, you're already obligated him to pay him the 19. So if you guarantee him the 19, then he's just essentially making 5-6 million a year for 2 years. And if he's cool with that, and based on his age, I don't think he would be a guy who would be like, no, I can go out and get this in the open market because, and it's got to be nagging in the back of his head that, hey, I'm not as old as Darius Slay and Patrick Peterson, but I'm only a year or two away. Because remember, Stephon Gilmore and even Patrick Peterson at Ramsey's age had bounce back nice seasons at his age and then fell off the cliff a year or two later. So do I like him? Do I like the idea of him? Yeah. I mean, if you're going into the season telling me he's our third, maybe fourth corner and either our starting safety or he's just our guy who we throw out there to run around and cause chaos. Yeah. I mean, as long as the money makes sense.
He is guaranteed that 19.5. I thought if we cut him after the June 1st deadline for some reason.
March 13th, he gets his salary and his I want to say it's like a prorated signing or roster bonus or something. He gets basically like 16 million on March 13th. And then the rest is throughout the season. So kind of like we talked about last year when I was so mad at Cam. He got all his money basically the first day or two of the season, and then he holds out 7 months later after he's got paid for the year.
Yeah.
That's why I almost think it's just so soon and so quick, and you don't know who you're going to get in the draft. You almost kind of have to eat it for this year and just hope, okay, worst case scenario, we trade it off if it's not going to work out.
Yeah, I was wrong about his contract. I honestly thought we were able to get out from underneath that.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's not going to happen that way.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing with, look, if all of a sudden you're looking at, you can get Herbig on a team-friendly deal and extend him, which I think you should try to do immediately. And if you can get Darnell on a more team-friendly deal that you extend him, do that immediately. JPJ, you got to break the bank. I mean, because corners are expensive. But I also think if you go to him now and say, look, we'll give you 4 for 100 with 50 guaranteed, you got a better shot of that than letting him get one more year in the open market as an elite corner, because then you got to pay him $35 million a year.
Yeah, he's going to get big money, especially if he plays like he did this year.
Yeah, that's why I would go to him now with the Raiders and just
I
say,
agree with that.
Hey, we're going to bump you up to 25 a year. We just want 4 years out of you, and we'll guarantee half of it. It's going to be interesting to see now that Tomlin's gone, is if some of these things – now, Dan Rooney, it absolutely started with him with how much they guarantee and things like that. If Omar is going to be willing to massage the cap a little more and say, look, I can make this work. We can guarantee guys a little bit more money, because it's always been the knock on the Steelers. They get their own players, but they kind of stiff them on the guaranteed money.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get –
they don't do performance bonuses or any of those things typically either, unless it came from another contract or from another team's contract.
Yeah, so you're going to have to, you're going to have to be a little creative now and say, okay, what are we going to do? Bottom line is the number one thing that would start attracting free agents, top line free agents, in my opinion, is go out and have a top 10 offense. If you just show, hey, we're committed to offense, and we're going to throw the ball, and we're going to move, and all of a sudden, free agents are going to come here. They'll want to play with, they'll want to play in Pittsburgh. The prestige can return them. Excuse me a little bit.
I think they should restructure TJ's contract if they're not trading him.
I don't think that. I think they should. I think he absolutely won't. I've always had that nagging suspicion about TJ as being a me guy, kind of like Cam Hayward. I think they're both out to get theirs.
If they went to them and talked to them about, hey, we're looking at these guys that we think put us in Super Bowl contention.
Mhm.
You think he would turn down that restructure?
TJ, I kind of do, because he was so hell bent on being paid more than Myles Garrett initially. Let me just take that. Are you going to go to TJ and say, "Hey, TJ, we can get Alex Pearson"? He's going to go, "Oh well, if that's the case, And you would hope he wouldn't do it for like a name like Mike Evans. We know it ain't going to be George Pickens. Go to him and say, "Hey, TJ, guess what? We can bring in Trey Hendrickson."
Oh, Jesus.
I'm looking at Tyler Linderbaum doesn't. Alec Pierce, as much as I like him, is a top 10 free agent on CBS. If you told me,
who do they have as their free agent list? Who's their top 10?
Okay, so number 1 is Pickens.
Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson, number 2. Daniel Jones, number 3.
Get the appeal. Daniel Jones. Okay.
Jalen Phillips, interesting 26-year-old defensive end. I don't necessarily disagree. Linderbaum, 5.
Yeah, I don't understand that from Baltimore's standpoint either. Why didn't they pick up his 5th-year option?
Yeah,
anyway.
It's beyond stupid.
That is stupid.
Alec Pierce, 6. Rasheed Walker is a name maybe you can get TJ to restructure for. Hey, we're going to bring in a proven 25-year-old left tackle.
Which, oddly enough, he's the guy I isolated in our war room when we played the Packers over and over, basically telling every single fucking play.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, number 8.
Jesus Christ.
Intriguing name because I'm of the opinion that a real top flight running back. Love Jalen. It really is my favorite Steeler right now.
I know where you're going with this one.
Breece Hall.
Yeah.
24 years old, man. That guy. There's a different gear there. There's a difference.
Would you sign him and then trade Jalen?
I might sign him and keep Jalen and get rid of Gainwell.
Oh man, you can't pay 2 running backs starter money.
I don't think you'd have to pay Breece because with what we see running backs get, you're going to end up paying him 8 to 10. Jalen's 6 or 7 going into the last year of his deal. It's a little bit more expensive, but I think Jalen, man, as good as Gainwell played and surprise, love him, all that stuff, man, I think Jalen in that role would be better. I just do.
I like Jalen as a secondary running back, but
I think he's a better pass catcher. He doesn't have the hands of Gainwell. Gainwell has great hands. But you give me Jalen in the open field in the flat, and you give me Gainwell in the open field in the flat. I'll take my chances with Jalen 100 times out of 100. Because you get him outside in space and a corner's got to tackle him. Yeah, good luck. But after that, it gets really thin. Quay Walker, Jawan Jennings, Owe, Tariq Woolen's 13. I would definitely take a shot at Tariq Woolen's. Or Tariq Woolen. 6'4" corner. Give me some.
I put him on my free agent list just because I was he seems to fit what we like in corners, the big long corners.
Mm-hmm. And he might be the biggest to add 6'4". Devin Lloyd at 15 is an interesting name because I don't think there's any way in the world Jacksonville lets him get out of town. Jalen Watson.
I really like Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, he's a really good player.
Devin Lloyd. He is.
Yeah, don't see it right yet. Man, you got to give Broderick his flowers this year. He played really well. You're thinking of 2 years ago until the neck injury. And arguably, I would always say Broderick is a better run blocker than he is a pass blocker.
He is a better run blocker than a pass blocker for sure.
And that being said, if we can get an upgrade there, I I wouldn't hate it if he came back, but a smallerish tackle with a neck injury, much as I love him, hey man, if you can't play, you can't play.
There's going to be some really interesting stuff with Broderick Jones this year because you got a whole new coaching staff. You have whole new offensive line coach. You're going to have different game plan as far as like his pass protection and stuff like that. And coming off an injury, 5th-year option on the table. Like, there's going to be a lot of storylines behind Broderick Jones this year. And plus, Dylan Cook, let's be honest, he didn't play bad down the stretch. He played pretty decent.
No, they've got options. And I don't think the running back is the problem. Look, as much as I love Jalen's not a fast back. He's quick. He's quicker than, by comparison, than what we had for the last couple of years. He ain't Breece Hall. I mean, he's not. Breece Hall is another gear. When you see Breece Hall in the open field versus Jalen, it's a huge, huge, huge difference. I mean, speed kills at the running back position. So, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm so high on Jeremiah Love. If he was there at 21, I'd run the pick in as fast as I could be because I do think the running back can make a difference as long as it's not incompetent offensive line. I'm not I'm not going to visit the argument of he who shall not be named the blind running back, but we haven't had a fast back, who could hit the hole hard, in a long time. I mean, maybe all the way back to.
I just looked.
Well, Lev Bell.
Spot Rex projection for Breece Hall is 10.391. That's a pretty sizable contract for a running back.
So if you, I'd hate to do it, but you dump Jalen.
Yeah, you're not keeping both. I mean, that's a lot of money to tie up into your running back room. That's what, $18 million in the running back room, roughly. Or is it what did Jalen get?
I think he got 6, maybe 7.
Okay, maybe it's 17 million in the running back room.
Right. It's well, no, actually, 2-year 11.9. So 7 of it was guaranteed, and he got a $6 million. So it's basically $6 million and 10. So $16 million. It's expensive, but it could be really, 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 really good.
I think I'd rather only pay one of the two and go with a rookie.
Yeah,
and put my money elsewhere.
Yeah, but if you're going to pay Gainwell to come back, you want to spend 12 on Warren and Gainwell, or you want to spend 16 on Hall and Warren?
I don't want to spend that much on either of them. Personally, just because I think there's just enough running backs late in the draft where you could get. I mean, if you get Black in the 6th round, you're basically paying him dirt nothing to be what Gainwell was. I mean, those running backs that Indiana had to block this year. I mean, they had to play pass pro. So I think
Aaron will pick us out a good one.
Aaron will, yeah. He'll make sure the organization pays Gainwell.
Yep. All right. Well, this was our first mock draft. It's posted up on X. So if you missed the show and go back later, you can watch it. You can see it up on here. We're going to be back Friday night, big Super Bowl show. We're going to have the guys from the fantasy draft, at least some of them join us. We're going to kind of combine rapid fire from fantasy with legendary picks. Dave's going to have some cool over-unders, I'm sure. I'm sure John will come up with some interesting things. And poor Greg, who had such a safe lead, might have to run the gauntlet of a 20-25 pick rapid fire.
Greg's coming for the belt.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Greg's got the belt. He's the undefeated champion. I think he's got a 10-game lead. I think it'll be all right.
Yeah, he's been doing fine.
Guys in the chat, you've been awesome. Please like, share, subscribe. We'll be back on Friday night. We'll be back Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, with the draft show. We're going to talk about cornerbacks. probably mix a little free agency in there as well. But it should be a lot of fun. And otherwise, again, thanks for joining. Trent, you got anything else?
Nope, good to go. Thanks, everybody.
All right. We will talk to you Friday.
And just like that, I left everything. See ya!